Hi, my name is Sabrina. My friends and my family call me Bree, and I just want to share a little bit of my story. Um, it started back in, I want to say, about the end of July 2016. Um, I have just finished spending the day with my family, my mom, swimming at my mom's house, and I got home and I noticed a little red bump on my neck right around here. I thought it was a mosquito bite or a bug bite of some sort because I'm extremely allergic to insects, so I thought that's what it was. A couple of days later, I noticed that the redness was gone, but the bump was still there, and I just kept playing with it, and it seemed like it was getting bigger, but I really don't know. About, I would say maybe about 2 weeks later, it was still there, and then that's about the time that I noticed my dog Roscoe started sniffing around my neck, and he would lick that area, and that really triggered something in me, and it really kind of prompted me to make an appointment. I made an appointment with a ear, nose, and throat doctor, and I went to go see him, and initially he thought it was in my thyroid, and they did all kinds of tests for that, and they did an ultrasound and decided to go ahead and do it was about 2 or 3 weeks of different tests and antibiotics and things when things weren't working. So finally I decided to do a needle biopsy. And I asked him, I said, well, you're still gonna take it out regardless, right? And he said, yeah. I said, well, let's just skip the needle biopsy and let's just take it out and find out what it is. And after the surgery, he came in, which was kind of weird to me because I've had quite a few surgeries and I don't really remember a lot of times the doctors coming in. And he came in and he said, yeah, I have a feeling I know what it is. And he's like, there was about 6 or 7 that we pulled out, but there was a lot more in there, and we're not gonna mess with them. But I have a feeling what it is, and he wouldn't say what it was. And I knew in my gut, I knew what it was. That was on Thursday, September 30th, and it was Monday, October 3rd. I had given them permission to leave a message on my voicemail with the results if need be, and I sat by my phone all day and sitting in front of the television, and the phone was sitting right in front of me, and then I noticed that it had went straight to voicemail. It was about 5 o'clock, and it never rang. I picked it up, and on the voicemail, it was the doctor, and he was letting me know, yeah, that his suspicions were right, and it was he initially said non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and I didn't know what to do, and I couldn't even cry. I was just so freaked out, and I ended up calling my dad first, and my dad lives in North Carolina. I called my dad up, and I let him know, and I think that's when I started to kind of break a little bit. And he told me, he's like, you know what? He's like, get yourself together. He's like, we're gonna get through this. Like, do some research and find out where you want to go. And I started, and I called my sister, and I didn't tell my mom right away because my mom does live in Goodyear. Actually, lives right by the City of Hope. She lives, so we went actually went to breakfast with her and told her in person. But that was when my dad was like, we're gonna get through this. And to hear him say that, like, it just sparked something in me. And then I just realized, I could. I mean, it was like the second day, and I was like, I can sit here and I know I can feel upset, and I'm upset about it, and I can feel sorry for myself, and I can cry about it, but I need, I gotta beat it, and I can't beat it if this is all I'm gonna do. And just crying about it is not gonna help. So I had to like change my outlook and change in my mindset, and that's what I decided. Like, I was gonna beat it, and I little by little, as things started happening, and I started my chemo, and when I went to the my first couple initial appointments, I went with my sister, and she's my wife now, but my girlfriend at the time. She I brought them along to take notes and ask questions that I knew I was going to forget. And my sister used to be a teacher, so she's a very diligent note taker. She took notes on things I don't even remember hearing. And so they would remind me about things. They would make sure I was eating right, make sure that I was doing the things I was supposed to do and taking my supplements. And they were always on me. And they started calling themselves Team Bree. And like right away, I was like, my first, when let me get, back up a minute. When I decided, I'm going to fight, I was like, I can and I will. And that just became my mantra. I can and I will. So I had these bracelets made up, and these little Team Bree bracelets, and it says Team Bree on one side, and I can and I will on the other side. And I gave them out to my family, and I think I might have made like 20. And before I know it, everybody was asking me, "Hey, how can I get a bracelet? Can I get a bracelet?" And so I ordered a whole bunch of them, and people at work were wearing them, and people, friends that I hadn't seen in years, but I was still friends with them on Facebook. Everybody started wearing them, and then they were sending me pictures, and then they started a site. It was a Team Bree site, and they would post their pictures somewhere with the bracelet, and it was really cool. It was really encouraging, and it really helped me, when they tell you that, it's how important it is to have a good support system. I mean, that was it, because without them, I know I couldn't have done it, and to have them, and it I can't, you know, put into words how much that meant to me. And so I think it was I started my chemo November 2nd, and around beginning of January, my doctor came in, and and he said, "Well, I'm gonna let's do a PET scan to see where everything is and see how the chemo's working, and we can, kind of go from there." And that was in February 22nd. And I did the PET scan in the morning, and I had a little bit of a break, and I went to lunch, and I came back, and I met with him, and I was shocked that he told me that there was no evidence of the disease. Like, he's like, I was already entering remission, and I was just tripping out, but I did have to finish out my chemo, like the last few months until April, I think it was. But that and right away, my dad was like, started planning like this big celebration of life party, and which we did that May.